For more from Washington, D.C. is Behnam Ben Taleblu, senior analyst at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Behnam, thanks for coming back. How much of an indication is this apparent construction of these underground facilities that Iran is reconstituting its centrifuge capability to get to the point to produce enough material for a nuclear weapon?
Great to be back with you, Kalev. Yes, I think reconstitution is the exact word to use here. Iran is signaling rather publicly because it knows these activities are observable through satellites and other national technical means, as well as the countries that do have an interest in Iran that are doing intelligence collection, of course, that Iran is going to be compensating for the facility, the plant that was allegedly subject to sabotage earlier this year. So Iran is trying to signal that sabotage will be insufficient to set back its program. And it's going to be reconstituting exactly those efforts, perhaps even with greater speed, depending on political developments.
Right. Now, it's interesting, as you said, you mentioned this reported sabotage of that facility. It's not going to be underground, less vulnerable to that kind of attack. As our reporter commented, the U.S. has agreed to sell these bunker-busting bombs to Israel, but Israel doesn't even have the air capability so far to deliver them. Are the U.S. and Israel reaching a turning point that would require an aerial attack on this facility in Natanz?
Well, I think you raised several important questions there. One, of course, is Israel's qualitative military edge, military capabilities. It has to obviously feel secure that it can use conventional weapons to kind of delay, offset, or prevent these threats from rising. You raise an important conundrum, which is the bomb matters, but also the bomb delivery vehicle also matters. And as you mentioned, and the reporter mentioned, there is no current plane in Israel's inventory that can deliver the massive ordnance penetrator or any other kind of heavy conventional bomb. So to me, the sale of that capability could be a harbinger of things to come, or it could be merely political signaling to the Ayatollahs who are reconstituting elements of their program that the military option is being put on the table in more creative ways than in years past.
Now, with the construction of this underground facility, we heard from the chairman of the IAEA there. How confident can we even be in our intelligent assessments of at what stage the Iran nuclear program is now?
Well, what we know from public reporting, and more importantly, the IAEA's visits, and admittedly the IAEA has been stonewalled in the past in the Islamic Republic of Iran, and if past is prologue, it will be stonewalled again. Most unfortunately, intelligence hasn't always been perfect, but it has helped. Iran is basically playing a game of nuclear chicken here, trying to engage in activities that are short of a threshold for the use of force, but are just enough to get the Western countries to be spooked and to perhaps end this sanctions regime. Tehran doesn't trust the West, doesn't want just some kind of limited nuclear deal, but it does want the benefits of a deal, which is sanctions relief. So consider this a game of three-dimensional nuclear chess by Tehran, and a very public game at that.
Right, and of course we don't have time to discuss, but certainly the election coming in the U.S. may be a big factor, and whoever will be occupying the White House in the coming months is probably going to have to make some very serious decisions regarding the Iranian nuclear program. Behnam Ben Taleblu, thank you for joining us again on The Rundown from the Foundation of Defense of Democracies, I should add.